where I will create a form ref using the useRef hook. Then I will assign it to the form. I will import use mutation from TanStack query and I will call the use mutation hook. This hook also accepts a config object, and on the config object can define a mutation function which will be the create to do's function. Then I will add an onSuccess property which will be a function that accepts a to do object. Inside the function, I will fire an alert to do created successfully. Then I will console log the to do. I will set the value of the input field where we enter the title of the to do to be an empty string. Then I will import use query clients from TanStack and create a query object. I will use that query object to invalidate the cache and refetch all to do's by calling the invalidate queries method on the query client. This accepts an object, and on the object we set the query key to be the same one we set when fetching the to do's for the first time. I will destructure add a mutate property from the return value. This is a function. Then I will also destructure add an isPause property which is a boolean. This is not what I intended to destructure, but will be fixed that later. So let's continue. I will create a handle submit function which is an async function that accepts an argument e which is of type form event. Then I'm going to call e.prevent default inside of this function. I will extract add text entered in the input feed, and then I will call the mutate function. This function accepts a couple of arguments. The first one being the argument we should pass to the create to do. This function accepts an object with a title property and an ID property, and as such we will pass an object with a title property and an ID property to it. Then I will pass an optional config object, and on this object I will define an onError property. This will be a function that will be called if there's an error while running your mutation function. Inside this function I will fire an alert error creating to do. Then I will console log the error. Next I will set the onSubmit property of the form to be equal to the handle submit function. Then I will rename the isPause variable to isPending, which is the correct property I wanted to extract from the mutation object. I will use this isPending property to show a loading state when the mutation function is running. If I head to the browser to test this out by adding a to do with title of new to do, you can see that we get a new to do. If I